Jai Hind, my dear students. I welcome all of you to the new academic year, and today we are going to start our classes in online mode. I welcome all of you once again to learn the different concepts in accountancy. I hope all of you are fine. Please take care of your health and give more importance for your studies. Watch the entire video to learn the different concepts. You know very well, accountancy is a practical oriented subject and you have to think very critically and from the viewpoint of the owner of a company. Welcome to the new topic from the first chapter, the financial statements of a company. You are going to learn the different concepts in financial statements of a company. Financial statements you have learned in the class 11 for the sole trader. And here in second year, you are going to learn the financial statement of a joint stock company. And it is prepared as per the Companies Act of 2013. Earlier, we followed the Companies Act of 1956. So, please give maximum concentration to listen my words and to watch the entire video. First of all, we have to learn what is the concept of financial statement of a company. You know very well, you have learned the preparation of trading profit and loss account and balance sheet in the first year. Here, we are learning the same concept, but the presentation of statements and accounts are simple and different. So, what is financial statement? Financial statement are the final report, the formal final report in an year through which the business firm communicates financial information to its owners and the various interested parties like investors, stakeholders, shareholders, government, employees, etc. They want the up-to-date information every year, so we have to give more importance for all these type of reports, and it is available in a statement form. So we are giving the term instead of final accounts. Here we are using the term financial statements. I hope you have learned the concept of financial statement. Moving to the next topic, we have to learn what are the different objectives of preparing these type of financial statements. First of all, it is helped by giving maximum information about the economic events or resources and obligations of a business in the form of company. And also, it provides information about the earning capacity of the organization. You know very well and in detail all these concepts in a practical manner in the upcoming chapters. And another objective is to provide information about the cash flow. Cash flow may be cash inflow and cash outflow in an organization. So we want to know about that also. And it helps to judge the efficiency, the effectiveness of management. Why? Because every plans and policies are framed by the management, and if we are getting the better result in every year, that is the efforts and the plans made by the top management. So better results shows the better planning, efficient planning by the top management, and we can find out through the reports, financial statement, balance sheet, and statement of profit and loss account. And it provides information about the different activities which affect the activities of business which affect the society or the community where the business is situated. So by knowing all that facts, we can solve a lot of problems. So my dear students, listen my words up to the end of this video and please note all these points in your note. And another topic we have to keep in mind, the different types of financial statement. What are the different types of financial statement? Commonly, two types of financial statements are prepared for the company form of business. First one is balance sheet, and it is prepared in a different manner than the balance sheet of a sole trader. There we have prepared it in the form of an account. But here we are going to learn the statement form of balance sheet. And another one is statement of profit and loss that we are going to learn. So these are the two different statements we are using for the preparation of financial statements of a company. Moving to the next topic. Here in this picture, you are getting the half part of the financial statement. Means it is the format of financial statement and it is balance sheet. And two parts are there. First part is known as equity and liability. It have lot of headings and subheadings, lot of items are there. We will learn in detail in the next classes. And second part is asset that you will get from the next section. And first part you have to go through the first heading, equity and liability. It includes subheading shareholders fund. Shareholders fund again include share capital, reserve and surplus, money received against share warrant, application money pending allotment, long-term borrowings. Long-term borrowings or non-current liability include long-term borrowings, and deferred tax liability, other long-term liability, long-term provision, and current liability. Third main heading is current liability. It includes short-term borrowings and trade payable, other current liability, short-term provisions. After noting all these things, we will find the total of the first part. Actually, it is a single statement. In order to show in detail, I just put half part of the balance sheet in the first section. So we will learn in detail, in a depth manner, what are the different items coming in the subcategories of all these items. In the coming classes, we will learn. Moving to the second part, it includes all the items actually you have learned in the class 11. And here you are learning the different types of assets, and the different types of assets include, non-current asset and current asset. Current asset again classified into fixed asset, and fixed asset again classified into tangible and intangible asset. Also capital work in progress, intangible asset under construction, and also the non-current investment, deferred tax asset, long-term loans and advances, other non-current asset. All these items are coming under the first category in asset, that is non-current asset. And second, it is current asset. It includes current inventories, current investment, trade receivable include debtors and bills receivable, short-term loans and advances, and other current assets. So the total of equity and liability will be equal to the total of asset. You know very well the accounting equation. Asset is equal to liability plus capital. So please keep in mind the different concept. Whenever we are drawing the format of balance sheet of a company, it will be in a single statement form. So keep in mind the form of balance sheet. We are moving to the next area. Here I would like to give the explanation regarding all the main headings and subheadings in the concept shareholders fund. Equity and liability, it is a combination of three items: the shareholders fund and non-current liability, also current liability. Three different items are coming, major headings are coming in the equity and the liability area. So remember the format. Always keep a mind map, a colorful mind map you can create from these all areas. And we have to learn in detail what is shareholders fund, what are the items coming in shareholders fund. Shareholders fund include, otherwise we can say owners fund. It includes share capital, reserve and surplus, money received against share. All these three items constitute the content and the amount in the shareholders fund. Share capital, reserve and surplus, and money received against share. And we have to learn in detail what is share capital. You know, company's initial investment is authorized capital that will be mentioned in the documents of the company. In order to raise additional capital, company can issue their share to the public. So get ready. We are going to watch what is the ways and how we can raise the fund or capital by issuing shares. So the amount of capital collected by the issue of share is known as share capital. Please note in your books. And share capital, we have to remember in detail the sum total of nominal values of shares of a company is known as its share capital. In case of company, the term share capital and the capital have been held to be synonymous. Both are the same. Capital to be stated in the memorandum of association of a company. Also, another document, articles of association of the company, mentions the amounts. And remember, the amount of money collected through the issue of share is known as share capital. We have to learn what are the different types of share capital or nature of share capital. And first of all, you have to remember what is a registered or authorized capital. Authorized capital or registered capital. And every time, in every organization, there will be some amount of initial investment made by the owner. That amount is recorded in the documents of the company for the incorporation or registration. Already you have learned the concepts authorized capital, which will be mentioned in the memorandum of association of a company. That concept you have learned in the class 11 itself in the chapter sources of business finance and also in the formation of a company. So, what is authorized capital? The memorandum of association of every company has to specify the amount of capital with which it wants to be registered. The capital so stated is called registered capital or authorized capital or nominal capital. Please keep in mind the terms registered capital, authorized capital, and nominal capital. The registered capital is the maximum amount that the company can issue to the public. This is the maximum amount the company can issue to the public. So please keep in mind first category, the types of share capital include registered or authorized capital, or we can say nominal capital. And second one is what? Issued capital. Issued capital, actually it is a part of the authorized capital. When the company needs additional amount of money, they can issue some part of the total share of the company to the public. They can issue some part of the total share of the company to the public. So, issued capital, they want to raise additional fund as capital, they can issue some part of the authorized capital to the public. It goes on raising the capital as and when the need of additional fund. So issued capital is the part of authorized or registered capital or nominal capital which is offered to the public for the subscription in the form of shares. It is actually a document issued to the company. The person who is taking share is actually an owner of the organization. So you have to keep in mind what is issued capital. And so there will be some part of the authorized capital which is not issued to the public, and it is a part of the authorized capital, that is unissued capital. For example, I had started my company with an initial investment or registered capital or authorized capital, and the amount is 20 lakh, and I had issued 10 lakh to the public. Actually, I am issuing a document to invite the public to subscribe the company's shares. So 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each. The face value or the nominal value of a share is 100 each. So 10,000 out of 20 lakh, I am issuing 10 lakh to the share to the public. Shares worth 10 lakh to the public. So we can say 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each. One share value per share value is 100. So that is issued capital, a part of the authorized capital, and the remaining 10 lakh is unissued capital, which is not issued to the public. So keep in mind, the part of authorized capital which is not issued to the public is termed as unissued capital. Or we can say the excess of authorized capital over the issued capital, the difference between that amounts. So keep in mind unissued capital. And moving to the next category, subscribed capital. So as per my example, I am issuing 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each to the public. Sometimes the public will subscribe, they will apply for 15,000 shares, or they will apply for 8,000 shares only. So 8,000 means they are subscribing under than the value of or number of shares issued. Actually, I am issuing 10,000 shares to the public with a share value of 100. But if the public is applying for 7,000 or 8,000 shares, that is under subscription. Suppose the public is applying for 15,000 shares, that is over subscription. So it is very clear, the amount of shares subscribed by the public is known as subscribed capital. The amount, it is a part of issued capital for which applicants are received from the public. The subscribed capital is allotted to the respective applicants or subscribers as per the resolution passed by the directors of the company. So please keep in mind, subscribed capital may be under subscription or over subscription. And another category or classification of the share capital include called up share capital. Called up share capital, I know, you know very well, I had issued my shares with the face value of rupees 100 per share. You know very well, collecting capital through the issue of share is a liability to the company. It is a liability to the company. It is an internal liability to the company. Maybe they are treated as the owners, shareholders are treated as owners. The company have to repay the amount to the shareholder at the time of winding up or whenever the shareholder is demanding. So it is a liability. Collecting much money by issuing share is a liability, internal liability to the firm. So I am issuing 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each. Actually, at this moment, I need only some part of the total issued capital. So I would like to call only the 10,000 shares at rupees 60 only. I didn't want at 100. If I am calling the capital from the applicants or shareholders at rupees 60 or 70 or 50, that amount is known as called up share capital. Called up share capital is that part of share capital which has been called by the company for payment. Generally, a company does not call for the full amount of share at one lot. It calls for a part of the total number of shares issued. That is called up capital. Keep in mind, the remaining part is known as uncalled capital. The remaining part is known as uncalled capital. It is uncalled portion. So 60 if I am calling, that is called up capital. The remaining 40 into 10,000, that is uncalled capital, or sometimes it is known as reserve capital, which will be taken for meeting future contingencies. Only at the emergency situation that will be called for collecting or using fund in the organization. So remember, uncalled capital. And another one is paid up capital. So I am issuing 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each, and if public is paying 10 lakh to my account, company's account, the total amount is known as paid up capital, and it is the part of called up capital against which payment has been received from the public or the applicants or the member of that respective particular share taken by the people, and that amount is known as paid up capital. For example, suppose if anyone is making any arrear, the remaining amount or the balance amount after deducting that arrear, it is known as paid up capital. Actual amount to be paid by the public. So that is another classification of share capital. And a reserve capital or a reserve liability, another term you have to keep in mind. The terms like reserve capital and capital reserve are entirely different. Questions may be asked to find out or to state one difference between a reserve capital and capital reserve. So you have to be well prepared. What is reserve capital? That means the amount which is not called, is not callable by the company only at the event of any emergency or at the time of winding up of the organization. Winding up means closing time of that company. Then only they can call. That amount is known as reserve capital or reserve liability. Some company may keep the amount during the entire lifetime of the organization. So please keep in mind the concept reserve capital or reserve liability. And moving to the next area, you know already you have learned in the class 11 what are the different types of shares issued by the company to raise fund in the chapter sources of business finance. Here I would like to give some more explanation regarding that concept. So the concept is classes of share capital. Classes of share capital. You know very well. I just introducing here also to recollect all the learning you have done in the classroom. First one is preference share capital. Normally there will be two types of share capital. Preference shares and equity shares constitute preference share capital and equity share capital. Preference share capital, as the name indicates, they have some preference. They have some preference means they have the right to get fixed rate of dividend. Dividend is the return for the shareholder. Whenever if you are investing the amount in another company, you will get certain portion of the total profit of the organization. That amount is known as dividend. So if you are taking preference shares, you have the right to get the dividend at a fixed rate for the first day. And if you are choosing these shares, and you will get for the first if the company is winding up. So at the time of winding up of the company, preference shareholder will get the first preference to collect back the amount given by them to the company. So keep in mind preference shares. And what is equity share? Equity shares actually they are also treated as owners. They have no such preference which is earned by the preference shareholders. But equity shareholders are like the preference shares, they have some more rights. They have voting rights in the annual general body meeting. At the time of taking better decision of the organization, they have voting right. And they will get maximum amount of dividend which is remaining after issuing to the preference shareholders. So there may be possibility to get more amount of dividend remaining after the issue of dividend to the preference shareholders. So equity share capital. And another class, it is right share. Right share actually does not bring any cash inflow into the organization, but it is the share additionally given to the already existing shares. So these are those type of share that an organization issues to their existing shareholders, stakeholders, interested parties. This type of shares are issued by the company to preserve the property right or the proprietary right of old investors. It is given for the old investors. Only number of shares are increasing, no amount of cash inflow or outflow is there. That is right share. Please remember objective type questions we can face from this area. And another concept is bonus share, like the same. Another class of share capital include bonus share. It is also the additional number of shares given to the current shareholders without any additional cost or without collecting any money from the existing shareholders. These are companies' accumulated earnings which are not given out in the form of dividend but are converted into free shares. So these bonus shares are additional shares. It is created by converting the remaining amount of profit after the distribution of dividend. So bonus share, it is also issued to the already existing shareholders. So moving to the last concept from the video lesson, sweat equity shares. Sweat equity shares, almost all these three concepts, bonus share and right share and also the sweat equity share are same. So sweat equity shares are allocated only to the outstanding workers. Outstanding means the persons who are showing excellent performance in the organization. They are the executives of the organization. For their excellent work, the management will give these type of shares, sweat equity shares. It is due to their right they are getting additional preference and importance due to their hard work. That is sweat equity shares. So remember, these are the different concepts from the area share capital, the subheading which is come under shareholders fund. My dear students, please remember all these words and every time please keep in mind the concept. Try to read the textbooks, prepare important notes, create mind maps with all the subpoints and major concepts. So read the textbook completely. Try to develop objective type questions to get maximum involvement in all these statements. So thank you for watching my video. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you so much.